calls, the text messages, and my business email for Nokia would all have updates here about what email were coming through. This Nokia Drive is a Nokia-created application. We have many software development teams, and we produce our own Windows Phone applications. This is leveraging our location resources. Nokia owns a company called Navtech, which is one of the 2 central geodata sources of the world. It's used by every product from personal navigation devices to mapping services and everything else. And this is basically a driving navigation app that we created. It's quite cool. I definitely recommend. You can download it from the Windows Marketplace on any phone, actually. The Office integration, again, just promoting what Microsoft has done, not us, but the integration of Office is quite amazing. All the Office tools, as well as Xbox. And again, these integrations are quite unique. This is my, oops, oh, back in the Office, sorry. My kids now choose playing with my phone over their iPod Touch devices when we're out and about together. This is my little avatar here. These are my friends. And I'm telling you that the audiences, perhaps Edwin has the numbers on the number of Xbox users in the United States alone, but there are millions of them. And it kind of, the joining of these existing audiences, both on for the Office products and for Xbox, is in the ability to kind of leverage those audiences through this device is quite powerful and different from the other platforms out there. Just if you haven't seen this, the design, which is called Metro, is quite fresh and interesting. Now, again, I talk with businesses every day as part of my job, and many of them, when they actually make the change and start using a Windows Phone daily, they tell us that the actual interface feels much fresher and newer to them. And if you think about it, it's obvious why. While the iPhone rocked the world when it came out in 2007, 2008 timeframe, it actually hasn't changed that much since then. But this is much newer, much fresher, and again, people who are diehard, I work with people who are diehard iOS developers, diehard Android developers, and I see them kind of open or change their minds as they use one of these devices. There is a lot new here. There is a lot that end users find compelling, and it's something that developers, this panorama, you'll see basically there's a depth to the interface. There's the imagery behind, which again, and all this stuff is pulled from favorites and saved. It's a beautifully well integrated system, but there's like a front layer which you can customize personally, or you can have applications customized, or applications that can take advantage of this in their design. And again, the ability, this is just a new thing about customization. You can completely customize this home page and pin things. I can pin applications to my home page that I'm most interested in. This is the full set of applications. This list is the full set of applications on the phone. But this home screen has either applications themselves pinned to it or even sub-elements of applications. This here, for example, is telling me the surf report for Nantasket Beach live. It's updating its live tile. So it's bringing useful information to an individual to this home screen. You know, these are my most used applications: Netflix, little OneNotes about you know, my hotels and different things of that sort. This is the CNN app that I mentioned, the exclusive app. But again, I could go on and on in terms of the hardware. I've dropped this phone several times by accident, and it's still up and running. But try doing that with some of our competitor phones. The Carl Zeiss optics technology is world-renowned. This is an 8-megapixel camera on here. The Lumia 900 has both the back and front-facing cameras. And you will definitely, if you keep your eyes open, you'll hear more announcements in the future. That's all I have. I'll pass it back to Edwin.
Before we move on, is there any questions for Dean from a Nokia perspective?
Just a quick question of the hardware. I used to have a Nokia phone, my dad did too. And I think the general stereotype, the general stereotype about Nokia phones is that they're indestructible.
Yep.
How much effort do you put into getting that type of capability?
A ton. In fact, again, we've watched the world change in front of us. Again, kind of referencing what I said earlier. But we've never changed some of those kind of founding elements. I believe the reason that Nokia became the #1 handset maker on Earth, and interestingly, if I didn't mention it before, we still are the #1 mobile handset maker in the world. And that kind of quality of design, ruggedness, is something that we've started and never stopped. It's built into our manufacturing and testing process. We have this whole philosophy that goes very deep in terms of manufacturing efficiency and rooting out defects in quality. And we retain all of that to this day, even in the face of very difficult competition.
What mobile providers is it available?
So in the United States, so we have partners around the world. Oh yes. So the question was, what carriers is our products on? So for the United States, right now today, we have Nokia Windows Phone products on T-Mobile and AT&T. But look for more information in the future. And then around the world, we have a wide variety of partners, and we're constantly adding to that list.
Do you think that's the biggest obstacle to domestic adoption?
It has been one of Nokia's challenges in the past, but I think, again, in kind of many strategic moves, part of it being a partnership with Microsoft, I am incredibly confident about our chances right now with our Windows Phone products, because when we approach carriers now in the United States, we actually come in with Microsoft together. And actually carriers, while again we've had our challenges in the United States, they understand Nokia's reputation for quality products, and so they are absolutely willing to talk with us. And again, AT&T is actually, I believe, the largest carrier in terms of subscribers in the United States right now.
I just have a question about sort of the strategy you're trying to implement to gain that larger market share. And then I think a lot of Apple's success has been attributed to the contributed to their physical stores and sort of the
Yes.
the unique shopping experience that provides, as compared to any other phone manufacturer where you have to go to like an AT&T store or something.
Yes.
To do that, do you have any plans to create Nokia retail stores or somehow market them in a physical location outside of just like carrier branded stores?
That's a great question. So the question was about whether we are selling our products exclusively through carrier stores or do we have our own plans for retail. And again, honestly, we actually had a handful of Nokia retail stores in the United States a few years ago. We had one in New York City on Fifth Avenue. We had one in Chicago. And we closed those in the challenging times that we have. And for the current situation in the United States, we are focusing very strategically on carrier phone stores. But again, we've done some very interesting things, and in my personal opinion, very effective things. We have armed, for example, the vast majority of AT&T phone store staff with their personal Lumia 900 device for free, so that that is the device that they use every day, that they're very comfortable with, that they're very willing and able to promote the device to customers. And again, we have an incredible amount of research. We've been doing this a long time, and we know, in fact, I believe the statistic is that 80% of the people who walk into a carrier phone store have not yet made up their mind about what phone they'll be purchasing. So they rely extremely heavily on what the phone store staff recommends or suggests to them. And that's one of the reasons we made this move with AT&T staff. However, to again get back to your question, the Lumia products are available in Best Buy and other retail locations that are non-carrier specific, but we are focused on the carrier stores for the main thrust of this effort.
So you showed on, I think it was like home screen, all these things constantly updating.
Yes.
How long does the battery last?
Yeah, we get that question all the time. The question is, how long does the battery last with all of these updated tiles? And I think people kind of in the know about technology, that's one of the first things they wonder about. And I don't have the specific stats on battery life, but I can tell you that it's quite comparable to other smartphones and how long they last, not just Windows phones, but all platform phones. And I think the best way to kind of convey how we do is to ask you to read the reviews. Again, we've been reviewed in every major news source, from the New York Times, the Boston Globe, CNET, Engadget, on and on and on. They've all had hands-on reviews, and they all talk about battery life, and none of them, talk about that as a problem, even with this kind of amazing and new live tile technology of Microsoft's.
Can you talk a little bit about what features, or if anything, you've taken from the Symbian kind of like infrastructure you had before, and how that translates into Windows Phone?
That's a great question. The question is, Symbian was our smartphone operating system before our partnership with Microsoft. It still exists today, but we don't focus at all on Symbian in the United States, but it is still used globally. We still sell phones using the Symbian operating system. And I think, to answer your question, what we really leveraged is just basically our deep research and our experience in Symbian. We did not so much leverage specific technology from the Symbian operating system, but I can tell you, and then this is the research for another time for you folks to go in that Symbian was actually in many ways more powerful than iOS currently is now. And it was at the time that the first iPhone was launched, including multitasking in terms of the imaging technology on smartphones, and on and on and on. But we just took the experience with that operating system and applied it to the Windows Phone. Shall we move on?
Okay. All right. Thanks again, Dean. Really appreciate it. I do want to show you some of the dev tools, but also kind of show you some of the favorite features that I use that might be applicable to you while Glenn gets his presentation started. For example, so at least this is my phone. This is the Nokia 900, Lumia 900. I just got married like 2 months ago, so that's why I have a picture. Thank you. I'll show this to my wife, the recorded video, so she knows that I actually talk about her in a good way. Okay. This is my home screen, but some of the things that are really interesting to me is, I like to watch movies, right? So, if I want to see what movies are playing locally, I just click on movies after I do a search. It's not showing the thing I want to do. But what's really interesting, though, is it suggests some of the apps that you can use to download and find out what your movies are. So for example, movies, and if you click on that, you can see IMDb, all these other things. One of the things too that I used to have an iPhone, but that I really appreciate here is, you know, a lot of my friends, I kind of group them, I text message them in groups, but I also like to see a location where all of them are stored. So for example, I have I'm from New York. Anyone from New York? Long Island, represent? All right, cool. So if I go to New York friends, what's interesting, I have a group of 8 friends that are from New York, and it gives